But I think Lovejoy have the opportunity to now, if they start getting a little bit more of a media backing, then I think there's an opportunity for that band to like literally take over the UK. Right, team. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Scratch Record podcast. Oh, what are you laughing for, Trippy?
What accent was that?
I don't know. I think I accidentally slipped a bit Brummy.
It was a bit brummy.
That was accidental. Hi there, team. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Scratch Record podcast. Joe, are we keeping well?
Bloody hell, it sounded like you were shouting at me.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I'm all right. Doing well.
Tired and lonely?
As always.
Yeah. There's a new Twitter bio for you.
Tired and lonely.
Tired and lonely.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd change it to like, I've changed it from what it was.
Have you actually?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
been that for so many. It's been that through 3 relationships, and it was, if you get to know me, I'm a catch. Has been my bio on Twitter since we're about 16.
Yeah.
I've now changed it to founder idolised, just in case someone.
Oh, that's pathetic.
I know.
How many podcasts have you guys done?
I see.
95.
This is
94.
It's kind of
How
all than
many
that,
of them, as a percentage, have we opened with Elliott's relationship problems?
Not many.
80%.
I'd say 2.
Oh,
I'd
many.
say at least 5.
Trips, stay out of it, all right? Before you get into anything, Joe,
Well, I wasn't going to get into anything. I was going to talk about something we've already spoken about.
Okay, go on.
I think you should tell people about the bio game because we should try and spread that game.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
So the bio game is whenever you make a outrageous claim of some description.
Any sentence that is said in a friend setting, then if someone calls bio, you instantly have to set it as your bio on a social media of choice. So if you say something horrendous and someone calls bio, unfortunately, you have to make it your bio somewhere on
Try
social
to
media.
demonstrate.
No.
No.
Not really. Yeah, it's a great game.
It's a great game, and you're all welcome. There you go. It's our gift to you. You're all welcome to have it.
There you go.
Back on.
I'll give.
Good luck
But
to you.
speaking to the listeners, I've got a little bone to pick.
Ooh.
YouTube,
Yeah.
people are watching, right? Getting a good viewership so far, especially on our little comeback episode. I'm disappointed with all of you. Really disappointed. Our viewership, if you viewed to following ratio, so the amount of people that subscribe to the channel and not subscribe,
Correct.
is we have 99.7% not subscribed.
Okay, that is terrible.
So if you actually are watching on YouTube, subscribe,
Yes.
or else I'll break your jaw. I'll try to say that.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Subscribe or I'll break your jaw. Bye.
Bye. Subscribe or I'll break your jaw.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. And get in the comments, because I feel like we need some backing in the comments sometimes, because when we say some outrageous things, we get all these random people jumping in to attack us. I feel like we need a little TSRP army that comes in and goes,
The army?
Yeah, the top. Don't know. I don't know. Something about that doesn't feel right. We'll Google it later.
The army.
It doesn't sound right. Yeah, jump in, get in the comments, back us up if you can. Sometimes we're undefendable and it's
100%. Because we do sometimes say it too.
no, we don't.
No, we don't actually.
I believe everything I've ever said on the podcast.
Fucking liar. That is 100%.
No, we've always said 75% of it's the truth.
Yeah, 75% of it is the truth. 75% of it is what we believe. 25% of it is us hamming up the bit a little bit. You put it on a show for you guys.
Hamming up the bit is an interesting sentence.
I say it all the
You
time.
don't.
I do.
Oh, don't get me into the fucking creme brulee conversation again.
Oh,
You don't
no,
say that all the
don't.
time.
Fuck off.
You've never eaten a creme brulee and you don't say hamming up the bit all the time.
I don't. Obviously, I don't bring it up in every sentence, but when we're talking about content, I will ham up the
I've
thing.
known you for over 10 years. I reckon you've said it 3 times.
What? Oh, fucking. But the creme brulee stuff still stands. It's my favourite dessert, and we just don't have it round here.
He's never eaten it.
I,
It's his favourite dessert. Never had it. So weird. So I've seen your favourite song, something you've never heard. Have you enjoyed having a dabble on Threads over the last week or so?
See, I was going to try and ignore you because you'd upset me.
Yeah, but not engaging.
I know you're engaging me. But Threads, I have to admit, I've been surprisingly impressed. I've been quite impressed. It feels better than Twitter.
100%.
It's less clunky. It's so much smoother. The one thing I don't like though is that when you follow someone, you know the little vibration you get in 3D, in like your 3D touch stuff, the little vibration you get when you follow someone and the vibration you get when you click on the interactions into your like interactions and mentions and stuff is exactly the same vibration, and it really confuses me. So when I click that, I feel like I followed someone.
That is the roguest criticism of anything I've ever heard. If I'm really fully honest.
That is my genuine opinion. Just make it a split second longer, but every time that I've clicked on that, like the little love heart to see where you can, the little heart when you can see where a lot of people have followed and stuff. I think I've accidentally followed someone that's followed us.
Interesting.
And I have to double check.
I don't know what to say to that. I think it's, to me, I think it's really good, but it feels like a beta, which I imagine it is.
Yeah.
And they've pushed it out because it's good timing with Twitter doing some incredibly questionable things, that they were like, fuck it. Instead of doing a bit of a closed beta, then an open beta, then releasing it, they've just gone, have it. Let's just like.
I think they did do a closed beta.
I imagine. I think like, especially bug fix wise, you have to have a full on test before it can go live.
I think Ninja was on it.
It makes sense, but I think it's not. I sort of went on it. I hate the way the feed works because it's like especially on the podcast account, like we do now follow like a fair amount of people, and it was just none of it was not even relevant. But again, that is going to be, it's going to come with time. It's going to be improved. But I just think that was a bit like, I was bored of it after like 5 minutes. I was like, there's nothing to look at here.
See, I quite liked it. I quite like the feed is just kind of being a For You page, which at the minute is obviously going to be full of celebrities and stuff like that. But I think having it structured a little bit more like TikTok when it comes to the For You page and how you look at feeds and how you look at a feed is going to be better than like it is on Twitter, for example.
But that's fine. But then it just serves a very different purpose. It doesn't then like get rid of Twitter for me.
Oh, really?
Because Twitter, like the whole point of what Elon Musk has tried to do with it is an informational social media now. Like, especially for me, it's mainly football stuff, music stuff. Like, if I want to know what's going on with transfers, like I will go on Twitter above anything else. And Threads then doesn't work for that, so I'll follow a load of like football news stuff, and it will just never be shown to me. So
yeah,
it's not. It just goes a step too far, which is fine if it's trying to be more like TikTok, where you're like,
I think it would,
browsing content. But I think
fine,
it will give you different.
I then think it will give you your following and like tailor your algorithm towards what you like eventually. I think
Eventually.
it is only a couple of days in. It's like a couple of days launch when we're recording this, and it's been out like 3 days or something. And it's been the most signed up social media platform ever.
Yeah,
70 million since launch, which is crazy. And I think it's going to be tailored a little bit more to like you. So like the algorithm is fresh when you're looking at it now. Hence why it's just all celebrities, because they're the ones that are automatically getting the most like interactions and stuff. But I've already noticed now that ours is more band and musician content. There's like a little bit more like musicians that I've never heard of and don't follow, but then also including some of the ones we do follow.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's going to end up being like, a little bit more that type of algorithm. But
I think the way they've linked it to Instagram works really well.
I think it's
like creating an account, like the fact you can just go like, yeah, that's my Instagram account. You can just click a button to follow the people you follow on there.
Yeah,
and basically just like replicate it over. I was like, that was really nice. And then like the fact that if someone shared like a thread on their story, you can tap it and it like jumps straight in. It's just like, it felt really clean that it was so intertwined.
It is very clean. I think the main thing that I'm going to be intrigued to see is how the virality happens and how they're going to orchestrate that, and whether it feels more Tumblr-esque, where there's not really viral content, there's popular content.
Yeah.
Whether that's what it's going to end up being like.
That's what it feels slightly more like, is like a Reddit, Tumblr style thing, which makes sense. It's threads. That is kind of the point.
It feels more forum-based.
Yeah, it's a post, and then there's like, even like, what they show you on your feed is like the post, and it shows you how many replies it has and how many likes it has. So even that is encouraging, like, to go on the thread and have a respond on a post rather than like just like some content. Which again, I'm kind of all for that vibe. If you can basically take the best from Twitter and the best from Reddit and put it into a meta social media, it starts to sound pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, we're on it. I'm sort of intrigued by it, and I'll be interested to see how it goes.
I want to post a bit of daily bait on it. Just a bit of daily bait and see whether we get any clicks. I've got a good one for today, which is, have you seen the iPhone that someone's replying and it's like a meter long, and it's like a text? Like
I think I have, yeah. That's all.
I just want to put like, what band would you support to this level, or like what band would you, what album would you back at this point, or
Yeah,
something like that. And then just I think what it'll be is just stealing viral ones and orchestrating it towards music. So utilizing, I think having a photo when it is going to make it do much better. Then that'll gather much more interactions than just having a post because it doesn't stick out as much on that feed now. I think what will also be interesting is seeing how videos work.
Yeah, I think how they do their video content is really key.
See how they make the clips and see whether it does end up being just like Twitter, where people do just watch fighting videos and it is just. I spoke to someone in the States this week about Threads and about
Do you work with America? Do you?
No, I don't. I've got a pen pal. So we were talking about it. And I was talking to him, and it's someone who is like in like a very different world to us, but like in LA, and their Twitter feed is exactly the same as us.
Yeah.
CCTV idiots, best fights, daily fights, like all of them feeds that come up on my feed. He's like, I see exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is hilarious that we get the exact same accounts pushed to every person on the platform because we don't have similar algorithms.
No.
So like, I thought that was hilarious.
Mainly humans are so stupid. They just want to watch boys beat each other up, and that is mainly it. Like, it's so entertaining.
I think that's the main problem with Twitter. I think that is the main problem with Twitter is I just go on it and I end up seeing someone being shot.
There's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of porn, and there's a lot of like
I don't
people
mind the
dying.
porn,
No, it's not well good, but it's become quite a seedy place.
It's become like the depths of Reddit.
Yeah.
On your For You page, and that's the bit I don't like about it at the minute. I can't go on there and watch people get shot. It's not for me.
Admittedly, I was not happy with the old tweet limit thing, but I've not actually hit it once since it came in. So
Chris did.
Did he?
Yeah, when we were all sat we were all at the golf range.
To be fair, but wasn't he intentionally scrolling through Twitter to try and hit it?
No, I think we were just looking at the Ashes stuff. We were trying to see more and more about the fucking Australians cheating.
Damn bastard Aussies. You got to be careful because by the time this comes out, we could already have lost the series.
Oh, I think we might have, but as judging goes, I think we might lose the series. But they did 100% cheap. So, anywho, back to social media though. I think what's going to be really interesting is seeing how bands in our space, especially, are going to like actually implement Threads.
Someone's going to work it out, and they're going to blow up from it, like we've seen Instagram Reels do for people, TikTok do for people. Like, we've seen the power of social media can have on a band can literally take them from nothing to some of the biggest bands in the world just from posting good viral content.
Yeah, but I think when you're looking at there's a lot of bands that are doing it where bands are like kind of they've already got a collective that they're making music with. But I think the ones that I'm finding fascinating at the minute watching it happen are bands that are like already established on social media that are now, social media stars that are starting music. And I know it's for them. It's again, for a lot of them, it is like, it's just another creative outlet that is quite interesting. But I think the ones that I find have been quite fascinating are the ones that are have utilized their platform to do what they've actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
So like your Jadens, like your Lovejoys, like your Nessa Barretts, like your, you could go even further, like your Alex Warrens and people like that are already like in a creative space, making videos is their forefront or was their forefront, which gained them popularity. And now they're releasing tracks and they're doing stupid numbers, not because they're popular on social media. They're actually really good musicians.
100%.
So I think that's going to be something that I mean,
KSI is the biggest example, right? Of build your platform up from playing FIFA videos, obviously become huge, but then utilize that to push it into basically being a professional boxer and push it into being a chart topping artist. Like, music's not going to be for everyone, but it's that's insane that you can just build a platform and then just use that to just steer into whatever direction you want to steer it into. It's fucking mental when you think about it.
Do you think that because TikTok is ruling the charts at the moment, do you think we'll slowly start seeing the people that are in social media actually ruling the charts? So like your Alex Warrens, obviously KSI when he releases stuff now, he is an anomaly at the moment for the stuff he does. But when you look at your Alex Warrens, your Jaders, Lovejoy is a prime example. I think Lovejoy have the opportunity to now, if they start getting a little bit more of a media backing, then I think there's an opportunity for that band to literally take over the UK.
Lovejoy could be Wilbur Soot could be Prime Minister if he wants to be with the amount of influence he now has. He could literally just rig a vote. It would be he could do anything.
I think they have opportunity to be the next 1975. The way their fans are and the way that their fans are so live or die by what he says, live or die by the music, and like their gigs sell out in a matter of seconds and things like that. And you think that cult nature or that real hardcore following is things that bands have not really seen in the modern day, to be really truthful, apart from your Harry Styles and people like that.
Yeah,
but like
Taylor Swift,
like your Swifties, or like the people that are like more, I guess, more popular already, but like they're in a different way. I think it's going to be interesting now. Like Lovejoy have that opportunity now to like widen their horizon.
Widen their horizon.
God damn, widen their horizon.
We nearly got through the whole episode without saying "God damn."
They've got the opportunity to ride.
Yeah, widen their horizons.
They've really got the opportunity to widen their horizons into a much bigger band, to be like
100%.
headlining festivals, to be in that sort of stage.
They've done it really, really sensibly to not kind of go. I think that when you obviously initially use a platform, then start releasing music and it does really well, like the temptation is to go, fucking brilliant, we're going to play shows everywhere, release loads of music and like really pounce on it. Whereas I think they were quite smart to remain really calm, focus on releasing the music that they like and working on it and putting a lot of passion into it, picking the right gigs at the right times to generate hype and picking the right festival slots. And like a lot of that hype has kept going because they've almost remained quite mysterious with it. They've not just played thousands of shows around the world and kind of burnt out. It's like they've built up a platform and now it's still like boiling to the point where if they pick the right time, it will shoot up bigger than it could have done if they'd have just pounced on it straight away. And people do tend to get a little bit bored, or there's a bit more pressure on going, you dropped a debut album straight away. Now they'll be on the second or third album by now, and people are a bit like, oh, don't know, are they any good? They're still in that like era of excitement. People like can't wait for them to release, can't wait for them to play shows. So if you do like kind of manage that in the right way, it could. 1975 is a good comparison.
Yeah, I think that's where they've got, like, they have the opportunity to. Whether or not they capitalize on it is a very different situation. But I think something else that is quite interesting that I was talking to someone about was how people feel like musicians that are also in social media don't get taken as seriously. So I was talking to the lad that works for me, and he was saying that he doesn't want to like focus back on his Minecraft stuff because he's also doing music, and he doesn't want people to not take him as seriously if he's a Minecraft YouTuber. And I think there's like this stigma that I'd be really interested to see whether Lovejoy are having a very similar issue.
Yeah.
And whether that is a choice by them that they've not done as many festivals or they've not done as many gigs, or whether that is actually people in the industry not taking them as seriously because they're seen as a social media band.
Yeah.
I think that could be it's like James Marriott as well. James Marriott, I think his music is really decent, and but I also think there is a restriction on it potentially by the older people in the industry, like we spoke about before, that are almost like they're getting the numbers that these newer bands are getting, but I think the people in the industry are wondering whether it's inflated by the social media presence.
And that's when you've got to work harder to an extent. Like, it sounds weird because they've got all this following, so you think it's going to be easier, but it can make it harder because you have to almost prove it. Outside of that, you have to do those gigs, sell the tickets and sell everything and get the streams and kind of be like, let's forget all the TikTok views and all the numbers and everything. This is like almost cold hard cash. Tickets, you can't argue if tickets sold.
No,
it doesn't matter whether those people find you through TikTok or whatever it is. If they're paying to turn up to a gig, you're a big artist. That is just the fact of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's slowly changing the perception, but it is a slow burn.
Slow burn.
Like it's
slow burn.
Someone like it's a slow burn.
It's a blow burn.
You can't say blow. Like James Marriott's done well because it is again perseverance. Like he's been making music for a long time and has gone from, but it's taken him to probably take a step back from his YouTube personality for it to work. Yeah, which is the shame of it. Like, as you say, that's the fact that you have to make that choice is quite frustrating. But a band like Lovejoy could change that. Yeah, because they suddenly get a #1 album on their debut album, then no one's going to argue with the fact they're making Minecraft videos as well. That's it. Like, you are a mainstream success at that point. There is no arguing with it. So then they can almost be the archetypal like success. Then people can go, great, you can make Minecraft videos and be a #1 artist. Like, because someone else has done it, but someone's got to do it first.
I think one of the ones that are really killing it at the minute, like, is Nessa Barrett. She just released a new single and she's crushing. Like, the whole vibe that she's got is like, almost like a punky-esque Lana Del Rey. Would be kind of like a grungy Lana Del Rey. Like, I know Lana Del Rey's stuff is very dark, but like hers feels darker. It feels very, there's that extra element to it. And when she released her album last year, it stayed at like within the UK charts. I think was it within the top 100 in the UK charts for quite a long while. And she played in the top like 2 tiers of the Red and Leeds lineup last year.
That's mad.
And you think for someone that is like, you know, she's gained popularity through being a TikToker. That was her shtick that got her popular. And I think that's now, you know, kind of they're bending the rules. And I think in America as well, there's a lot more of that like manipulation. I feel like the UK scene's hard to break anyway. Like, it's such a weird, clicky, paid for scene. I think it's going to be more interesting seeing the Americans that they're a lot more open to it come across.
It's like someone like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Like, that's the perfect example of almost like
Sabrina Carpenter.
really walking that line between TikTok, Disney personality, genuinely good artist, and actually you probably just are both.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And they both complement each other. And getting people to listen to your music is useful from that side, but your music has to hold up. And genuinely both making really good music, so then it bounces back. Like, you get the people in, then you retain them, and then you like start kicking on from there. Like, I think if you do have good music, that will push through eventually. You gain that popularity. But you have got to be careful. Even Olivia Rodrigo, people like would, especially say like our age males, would be like, I'm not listening to that. She's a Disney TikTok person. It's like, if Avril Lavigne had dropped that album in 2005, you wouldn't stop listening to it because it's a different perception. But like, it is really good music, so you can't really argue it.
Absolutely. I think, you know, like Jaden is again another example of that, and Lou as well, the similar sort of strengths. But when you look, like, Lou's getting backing from Girlfriends with Travis in Girlfriends and stuff, he's getting a lot of support from them, but also Jaden's getting a lot of support from Travis Barker, and they're writing songs together, and they're, you know, same with Huddy, not writing as many songs now with Travis Barker, but Jaden is like the first person that made Travis Barker start a label and things like that. And that's when you start looking at it and think, oh, okay, now these more mainstream artists are getting involved in this YouTube scene, and it's going to be really interesting to see whether these people could take over.
Yeah.
Because like Alex Warren, I've you know, in like get involved in some of his stuff and whatnot, and keep on top of it. And his music style is so Lewis Capaldi, and he can fucking hit notes. Like, it's not auto-tuned, which is the wildest thing, that he's come through from doing this David Dobrik-esque vlogs and being part, like, one of the founding people of the Hype House and becoming super, super social media famous, to now being a musician that he puts acoustic videos of him singing in the bathroom. And I sit there and I think, fuck, where has this voice come from? He's obviously been, you know, he's obviously took vocal lessons and whatnot, but this voice is like, it's immaculate. And you just think, this YouTube space and social media space, TikTok space and whatever, is building so many people so much of a career in social media, but they all have other talents. And because they're all creative, it's lending it quite nicely to having that talent here with video creating and content creation, to also then be able to like switch and transfer to something they do as a hobby, like playing guitar, writing music, whatever. And it's now becoming really apparent.
I think you've got to remember that it is a platform. So like, as long as you do have the talent, it's just a place to showcase it. And so if you do that successfully, doesn't matter what form that takes. If you're doing skits or singing in the bathroom, like, if you're just getting your talent to the most amount of people, then that is a recipe for success. Like, it's quite simple, really. But
yeah, it will be interesting to see how many like major labels start playing with it.
Do you think it'll ever go the other way, and people like proper mainstream artists like an Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift will fall off if they don't engage in social media correctly? Or do you think they're too far above it now?
It's kind of already happening. So there's a lot of big artists who basically labels push them, like, they won't release, or they'll release in a certain way where it relies on some kind of viral moment or something on TikTok or something like that. Like, let's make this a TikTok song. And if it's not, then it's not getting released.
Yeah.
I think that's massive for artists that are on the come up still. So I think when you look at like already well-established artists like Ed Sheeran, like Adele, like people like that, I think they're solidified in the space. But I think when you look at, you know, like Lewis Capaldi's a real prime example with it. His social media content is fucking brilliant. It's hilarious. And he's just so fucking funny as a person. But I think that has really helped his career. And if he wasn't doing that type of content, will he have been as popular as he is now? I don't know. Like, yes, he's very talented and incredibly talented, but would he have carried as far if he didn't have the social media presence?
Yeah, I think that was Sam Fender.
Sure. Yeah,
I think if he wasn't quite a genuinely sort of nice, funny, normal bloke, then like the popularity would be less.
Yeah,
because it's like those moments of him going pissed onto This Morning or whatever it was, and that boosts your popularity so much. I think, as you say, if you're that established, like an Ed Sheeran, then fine. But if you are coming up now, it's not actually enough to just be a really good artist.
It's that middle ground. I think this is like, obviously on the come up, it's really integral because it's free organic impressions. But I think when you're looking at on being on the real come up, of being in that middle ground of like, you could play like 4 o'clock on a main stage, 5 o'clock on a main stage somewhere. That's the one where social media is integral, because if you then can build that following up alongside being already backed and put on these sets and things like that, you have like a recipe for success.
Yeah.
Where if you don't do social media, then you've got a bit of a problem, because you've got to try and, people can only be a fan of so many bands. Really, people only have enough brain power and enough time in the day to look at so many bands. But because we all spend so much time on social media now, it becomes integral to that's how people see their music.
100%.
And I think if you're only going to gigs and seeing people, you're going to be, because our attention span's so short now, being able to keep being like, oh, that support band was incredible, I'm going to go listen to their EP. You're not actually going to then go and listen to that EP, because as soon as you jump on TikTok, there's cover sets of Poke Their Head In, or, you know, Crawlers, you see something from Crawlers or the Reels or whatever, and you're like, oh, actually, I'll go listen to their EP, and you quickly forgotten.
Yeah,
and it's that like constantly throwing things in people's faces that is just, I think, so important when it comes to social media content. Like, putting anything up is like integral, but it's I think when you're looking at the major already established artists saying, it's just not really a necessity.
No, I think that's the big thing. Like, the big criticism that we mostly have of a lot of bands we go see now is that, like, even it's not even social media, but it's having that personality live as well, of like creating viral moments while you're playing and actually getting up, playing your songs and getting off stage. It just isn't enough. Like, people need to be more engaged now. Like, people do have short attention spans, and times you go see a band, you're like, yeah, the music's really good, but it's just a bit.
Do you think that's
flat?
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because I think there is a point where everything becomes a show, no matter what the size of the band is. But I can't decide whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's potentially a good thing because it puts a lot more pressure on people being performative. But whether or not that is something that then goes a little bit too far and become a little bit like, not cringy, but they become a little bit too much, like Matty Healy.
Yeah.
Prime, like, again, I know 1975 again, but like, when he was, did you see the viral moment from Finsbury Park where he fucked the cameraman?
Yeah, did. I tweeted about it on our account.
Thought that was weird.
But yeah, I literally tweeted. I was like, in our predictions for 2023, we said he'd be in prison, and I think we're going to be right.
Like,
it's when the one from the bloke holding the camera is amusing, and then when it cuts to the other camera and it films him, and he's grabbing the guy's head, and then like helping the guy. It was so bad. And did you see he was pissed the other night playing, and like couldn't perform, and people were sharing it who were like, there is such a line now where like being a bit pissed and have a bottle of wine on stage is fine, but like he's like slurring the lyrics, and you're like, well, we've paid a lot of money to come see you. Like, there's always a line, but that, I think it's a good thing. I think people will always react badly if you go too far, and I think if your music's good enough, it will always push through. Yeah, like there will be bands where if you're good enough and you get up and you just play staring off into the distance, like if the music's amazing, people will come see it. Yeah, but there's an element of trying to think of other things that you can do, and it doesn't have to be massive, but a bit of crowd interaction, a little bit of like energy on the stage in your performance is just a necessity, and I don't think that's a bad thing. No, I don't think people should change who they are. Like, if you're not a massive performer, like, don't, because that's when I think it gets cringe, where then you try it when it's not really your thing. and that's fine. But like, if that's not your thing and you're a bit quieter and a bit more sarky, like make some jokes in between and have a chat to the crowd there and do something different. It doesn't have to be like really extravagant, but extra elements to your performance, because just playing the music doesn't feel like enough anymore.
Yeah, which is really interesting. I think it will be interesting to see what happens. Like, also, we're so new in this age. Like, TikTok's been about for like 4 years. Like, we're so new in this age of social media being so integrated with music and the music space, and the charts being ruled by what's going big on social media, not necessarily what's going big on radio now. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next 10 years with it, and how it translate, whether we see newer platforms that start taking the forefront in it, whether we start seeing more people that are already established in social media making music, and that just is like the top 10 every single week of the people that are already established. Whether that's going to be something that happens, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless.
I think you'll get to the point where you go to a live gig and they're showing like footage of Subway Surfers behind them because people can't concentrate. That's what I've pictured in like 10 years. Where it's on a split screen, like both the side screens are just fucking people playing.
Or is someone doing a Minecraft? Is someone doing like a Minecraft parkour,
some glass blowing or something, just to keep everyone interested enough, and everyone's just staring but kind of listening to them. That's literally what I pictured.
I can see it happening, man. I can see it happening. It's hilarious what people are having to do now to keep people engaged. Like, even with like the work that we do, like the engagement process now, even from when we started to now, is so different.
Yeah,
just constantly having to change camera angle, constantly having to do so much. And I mean, I do think if bands are out there and they're like trying to get into the next stages of where their band's going and things like that, you've got to try and throw that creativity into short form content, for sure.
Yeah,
get onto podcasts like these, get onto podcasts like this, and get onto things like that, and then just be outrageous.
come on our podcast. Shouldn't do that.
No,
Not live on camera.
No,
anymore.
Uploading that.
Not after the Morrisons debacle. You know what I'm talking about. You can't sit there with one headphone on and one headphone off, mate. Sorry.
Well, I can.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
Stay there.
Oh.
Fantastic. Just take a picture. I'll tweet it. I won't. I'll forget. But
Good podcasting.
well, I'm describing audio description.
Trippy is sat there in a knockoff football jersey.
No.
No,
Absolutely. No. This is not a knockoff football jersey.
well,
Reel him in.
it's not. It's not.
It's official band merch of the band Jungle.
Yeah, it is a
Jungle Fever, baby.
And it's like a kit on FIFA, I think.
Wow,
For like because they had a song on FIFA.
that's actually quite impressive.
And they made a run of them of actual t-shirts.
Cool.
It's just like it's just gone quite cool all of a sudden, hasn't he? Like, just thinks it's cool.
It is.
It's in his little top.
Yeah,
He
it's
just it's on
And
FIFA.
this video.
You just sit. Like,
Yeah.
You just think you're out, don't you?
Well, shall we have a little spin at the Rock Band World Cup?
Rock Band World Cup.
What it is, we're going to do, it's a bit of a bracket system.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like a bracket, well, World Cup, I guess.
Yeah, no, specifically just how the World Cup works and every other bracket competition.
Yeah, so we're doing a Rock Band World Cup, and we're going to decide, we're going to like discuss each one on which one we think is the better
Yeah.
option in the bracket, and then we could find out who the real best rock band of the world is.
Now, I'd like everyone, this won't make it into TikTok, but I'd like everyone to take the word rock with a pinch of salt with these bands.
Oh, don't give it. No, it's indie music. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Everyone-
This is for podcast listeners. TikTok, we won't put this in. We're trying to rile people up. For podcast listeners who's trying to enjoy this, yeah, it's a loose definition. It's a band. Rock, indie,
music.
alternative type bands.
Yeah.
There's no real rules on who could go in. I've just written like random bands down.
Yeah, it's just iconic bands that are in the space that we're in, and TikTok seems to not like that term.
That's not indie. That's not indie. Arctic Monkeys aren't an indie band because they sold loads of records. Fuck off. Literally fuck off. They are clearly an indie band.
Also, doesn't Domino Records count as an independent record label?
Oh, but this is the thing.
They're
I've
not
not read
even.
the.
They're not even like. They're not like a big corporate thing.
No.
Actually, they are by definition independent.
Yeah, but like everything's independent. Everything's independent. Like it's just a company that's an independent company. It doesn't matter. People use the term indie to describe certain music.
Yeah.
Everyone just knows that.
Indian alternative is just a sweeping statement to any band that's kind of rock, kind of alt pop,
Yeah.
into pop. Like it just kind of stretches over everything.
And if anyone has a problem with that, you're probably a wanker and you need to grow up.
Fucking hell, we found a new drink.
Told you you've been to this toilet for a while. Sticks of football shit. I don't fucking have you, mate.
Shaves his head, gets all really large, doesn't he, little skinhead?
He's stony on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Should we go into it?
We can start.
Bit of enthusiasm, you know. What's the first matchup?
Start.
Yeah.
The first one is Blur or Blink 182.
Blink 182, don't even give me no fucking shit.
I think that is so wrong.
Don't give no get.
I think that is so
no.
wrong.
I'm afraid that is no.
Wrong.
I'm not. I'm.
Blur are objectively a better band.
I'll end the podcast. We're done.
They're a better
I'll
band.
walk out. I'll go.
They're objectively, musically a better band.
No,
than
they're
Blink
not.
182. They are.
Give me this fucking bullshit. Blur could not travel the fucking world and sell out stadiums.
But we're not saying who's the biggest band.
Yeah, but it makes it objective. No, not every fucking city in the world.
Oh, they.
Blink 182 have played every single city in the world.
They're doing like a 200 stop tour around the world.
It's
And
not who are the most popular band, it's who are the better band.
Yes, Blink 182. It's objective.
Even so, I think Blur are probably more popular.
Monthly listener time.
I am gutted that you've said that. Blur have just released the most bang average bit of music.
Like so bang average. Oh my god. It's actually not.
Bullshit. It's so bang average. Edging came out and Edging fucking took over the fucking planet. But music for a while.
No, it didn't.
Yes, he did.
No one gives a shit about them in this country.
Don't give me that bullshit. They've sold out fucking 5 stadium dates.
Listen. I think this stuff it's an irrelevant point. We're not. If we're just doing who's the biggest band, then it's not a fun argument. It's not who's the biggest band. Because otherwise, we'll just go through monthly listeners and just pick.
Blink 182 are 10 5.
Elliot is saying Blink 182. You're
I'm
saying
saying
Blur.
Blur.
So what do we do? I then
Rock, paper, scissors, I guess. Or no, because you're going to say Blur. I don't want your opinion.
No, hold on. No, not how it works. You pick the rules based on the outcome you.
Yes,
There'll be times that he'll back you.
no, there is going to be many.
We can't rock paper scissors, because otherwise that's not as. Again, we might as well just do all
I
rock
think
paper
this is
scissors.
going to be the only like massively contentious one. If I know,
It's a way to start. It's Blink 182. No,
They're the Kings. Debatable. Green Day probably better. They're the second best band in their genre, in a very niche genre, and they're very good at it.
And what Blur?
They're very good at it.
the biggest band of the 90s behind Oasis.
So the second best in their genre.
Yeah, but it's a more.
It's a bigger genre, and they're taking it to a country.
Okay. No, it's a wider genre. It's like indie rock. They are one of the best indie rock bands of all time.
I'm disgusted.
Blink 182 are one of the best of that. There's literally only 2 good bands. They're one of them fine, but
I also feel like
You're going to fucking rip my throat out.
Blur are more creative. Blur are more
100%.
experimental.
so much more variety.
They're more-
I can understand. I can really appreciate the variety comment. I really can appreciate the variety
So in the variety, it's like making interesting music consistently. And I get so bored of Blink 182 because it's just the same.
They've got some absolute hitters, but they're a worse band than Blur. They're a worse band. They are.
I'm going to write Blur.
I think it has to be there's 3 of us. It has to have. It will come back round. I'm sure it will come back round.
Blur.
I'm fuming.
I'm objectively a better band.
I'm genuinely.
They are.
I'm so angry.
Me and you can make a song that sounds like Blink 182. We couldn't make a song that sound like Blur.
Valid.
I think we definitely have a good crack at fucking Park Life.
Yeah.
I don't think we would.
I think
We don't have the creativity and lyricism and
how iconic that song is. You couldn't make a song that.
And all
like,
the
that's
small things aren't as iconic as that.
not on the level of Park Life.
We're all good. Oh, yeah, great.
And the Universal and all these other.
So when someone goes, "Where are you?" in conversation, and what does everyone say? Where are you?
yeah,
Everyone
how
said
many
it.
people do people go? Oh, the people.
Yeah. When was the last time Blink 182 was on a British gas advert? Right. The next one is
They're not fucking. They're not capitalist pagans.
That is debatable. They also just talk about boners and stuff on stage, and it's really cringy. So that is a down point. Their Coachella set was amazing musically. I thought it was very nostalgic and really fun, but they are odd blokes.
the next
Down point.
heated debate is Oasis or the Smiths.
Oh,
That's
that is a tough.
really
That's a
tough.
toughie. That one I don't feel as passionate about.
I also don't. It's really close, and I'd be more happy with either of them. I think Oasis have to probably go based on longevity, in terms of having slightly more music and stuff. But
I've got Oasis and Blur in there.
if Smiths were a band for as long as Oasis were a band, they'd have been better.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is Arctic Monkeys or Green Day.
Who's Marky? Why did you do this?
Concert. It's just Arctic Monkeys, isn't it?
Yeah, he's Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that one is Arctic Monkeys. I can agree with that. Blur is.
You touched that up as it was going to be another massive.
Yeah,
Then you were like,
I'm hamming up the bit. That's twice in this fucking podcast I've used it. So fuck yourself.
The next one is AC/DC or Foo Fighters.
AC/DC.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree.
AC/DC, I think, is my call on that one. It's a no-brainer.
I think
It's
mainly
great, but I think AC/DC for me feels more iconic and longevity.
Exactly. I'd say I don't listen to either of them currently very often, whereas AC/DC I listen to a lot growing up. It's quite nostalgic. Foo Fighters they've got, don't get me wrong, some of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah.
But in terms of if you were like, who do you want to listen to, like for the next 3 hours, I'd pick AC/DC.
Fact.
that's interesting.
Mm.
Because I always thought Foo Fighters kind of captured this generation a lot more. More young people care about Foo Fighters than AC/DC.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it does really depend where you slot in, whereas like AC/DC is like probably both our dads' age, which is why it carries down, whereas Foo Fighters missed our dads and maybe slightly missed us, and maybe there's in a slight gap. I don't know. I've never really, obviously know their big songs, but I've never really fully engaged with them, so that might be unfair, but I'd agree with AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC.
The next round is The Strokes or Radiohead.
The Strokes. The Strokes. Fucking hate Radiohead.
Wow. Really?
I hate Radiohead.
They're the kind of depressing angle I thought you'd be into.
True.
Yeah, no, I'm depressed, all right? I don't want to. I'm not a fan of Radiohead.
I'd say Radiohead are one of the most influential and diverse bands in British history, and I think
Yeah.
that's a fact. But I don't necessarily love a lot of the stars. I mean, all their albums are very different. There's certain points that I like, certain points I don't.
I think you guys aren't as much on like the artistry, creativity side
No.
of stuff as I am.
Yeah.
Which is why they were my most played band in 2020.
Yes,
And
I would never.
And they weren't yours.
yeah.
No, I find it's sometimes a little bit too dreary. In a different way, it's like musically dreary, whereas I find like a lot of the music that I listen to is musically a little bit more upbeat, potentially with dreary lyrics.
Yeah.
So like, so I can appreciate the lyricism of like, I want to.
Yeah.
But whereas like I feel like with the Radiohead, one of the songs that always stands out to me is that like I'm a creep, and it's
Their worst song.
but it's internationally it's their
It's their most played. And they hate it along with all of their real fans.
Yeah, so like you look at like when I used to go to France quite a bit with the family, that was a song that's played so much on the radio in France still to this day that like
You are a creep.
yeah, Où est le crap? And but that whole like I'm a creep.
Yeah, but not all their music is like.
I know, and I can appreciate that, but like elements like that when I just find myself just being like, I just can't be asked to even give it.
No,
time.
I do agree with you. I think music, as I said, musically so influential, so diverse, so creative, incredible band. But I listen to Strokes a lot more, and they're definitely one of my favourite bands ever. Actually listen to their music more. Next.
The next one is Guns and Roses or Idols.
Guns N'
Guns
Roses.
N' Roses.
Valid.
Although, if I was to pick one to see now, I don't know. Guns N' Roses set, they are bloody past it, those boys.
I love
mate.
the Idols.
Idols Live were good. Guns N' Roses, those poor blokes, mate. Go sit down.
Oh, they're bloody bastard,
They are
No, they
bloody
got to deliver
bastard.
their food halfway through the song.
Yeah, go and get a little glass of scotch and have a sit down, mate. 'Cause you are a bastard. But Guns N' Roses, they've got some.
I'd have to go see him though at some point. I like as if you were gonna go like, all right, it's Friday night, you got 20 quid, you're either gonna get an Idols ticket or a Guns N' Roses quid for that sort of cash. It was an equal cash sort of thing. I'd be like, right, yeah, I'm going Guns N' Roses this one time.
I'd like to see Guns N' Roses like
10
in like the Bowls Club
yeah.
with like 100 people.
Yeah.
With all like 50, 60.
With like, if you gave me like 10 gigs and you got like each time you had to pick between Guns N' Roses and Idols, I'd probably pick Guns N' Roses twice out of 10. But it'd be the first time.
So what the fuck does that even mean?
So if you were like, right, Elliot, then we've got 10 weekends on the bounce.
Yeah.
Where we can either go to Idols or Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
The first weekend, I'm going Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
The next 4, I'm going Idols. And I'll probably go Guns N' Roses again, and then the rest.
It's like a simultaneous equation. So X is 1. No, I get what you're saying. So you'd want to experience it once you've done it. You'll be pretty happy.
Once I've done it, I'll be pretty happy. Like, it's like a bucket list kind of thing for me.
I'd agree.
I think musically, I do think it's Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, so Guns N' Roses win that one. The next round is Kasabian or DMAs.
Kasabian, I think.
DMAs.
Nah, I think he's got Kasabian.
100%.
I know the lead singer was wife beater.
Yeah, I know.
No, but
He's gone now, and they're so much better live.
Yeah, they are
Live
amazing
shows
live.
have improved.
But I would just argue, and I'm kind of happy to take it. Kasabian also an amazing band, similar genre. Kasabian have bigger songs, and they probably have 10 of some of the best songs ever released in the genre. Like, they're so good. But their back catalogue falls off a lot quicker than DMA's does. DMAs are consistently 8 out of 10 on every song they've ever released.
I think I have to really disagree. I think there is Kasabian have such a deep discography, but also they've just been in the scene for a lot longer. They're also much more well established in the fans that are involved, and their music has been integrated within just pure English culture.
Yeah, they've got more iconic songs.
They've got so much more the actual integration that Kasabian have. Like, you could almost throw them in a similar conversation as as you're talking about like the Strokes and things like that, just of a newer era. I think they have to be. I think they have to be there in that conversation. And I think DMAs at the minute, for me, are just still too fresh, still too new, still not kind of been able to establish themselves well enough, even though they've got a massive following and the music is great. I don't think it knocks up to Kasabian yet.
Yeah, I completely disagree, but if it's 2-1, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm massively with Elliot on that. It's Kasabian.
Thank you.
The next round is Nirvana or Fleetwood Mac.
Nirvana.
Oh, God.
That's really Nirvana more.
Do you?
Than I do Fleetwood. Yeah, for sure. I listen to Nirvana more than I've listened to Fleetwood Mac. But I do like Fleetwood Mac. Good vibe.
Fleetwood Mac is so
great knowledge.
Good.
Unbelievable.
They're so good. And again, Nirvana it is that longevity. If Nirvana released 5 albums, they'd be one of the best bands of all time. They didn't.
Yeah, they would.
And so that's tough. But it's also, they changed music, and it's arguably the greatest debut album of all time. So I'd probably go Nirvana.
Yeah,
but it's time. It's very different ways. They are they're close in really different,
different ways. But Fleetwood Mac are iconic. But
so good.
Nirvana just was so genre bending at the time.
I find Fleetwood Mac really fun to listen to.
Yeah,
they're very
So are the politics in Fleetwood Mac.
And you could do speaking of things we can have reality TV shows on, Fleetwood Mac would be one.
Yeah. I'd be such a good one, because when they all fucking...
They're all related, they're all arguing, they're all in and out of the band, is fucking mental. Like, it's absolute chaos. It'd be a great little show.
Okay.
It's like fucking Geordie Shore, mate.
Yeah.
The States in the 60s. You couldn't mix a vodka cook.
We move...
It's my favourite Geordie Shore.
Amazing. We move now to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
The first quarterfinal
I'm
is...
still so angry about Fleetwood.
Well, maybe you can write that wrong here, because this is an age-old debate. Blur or Oasis?
Oh, wait.
Oh, what a pull for the quarterfinal, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a good derby, wasn't it? It wasn't planned for. Being White 2 might get through. Yeah, I mean, again, personal opinion is Oasis. It's a very personal opinion thing, I think. But both amazing bands.
Blur was such a credible band.
Yeah, well, Oasis is better.
Oasis would beat Blink-182, so...
Yeah,
Not a conversation. So yes, I'd go Oasis.
Okay.
Yeah, Oasis is there. I don't think it's that much of a
Oasis.
discussion.
Oasis. All right, the second quarterfinal is Arctic Monkeys or AC/DC.
Arctic Monkeys.
Arctic Monkeys.
That was quick.
But again, that is a generational thing.
Yeah.
Both in their pomp, and you were like at that age at the right time. What? What? Pomp? That's a word. Why is that funny?
I've never heard that.
You're joking me. That is a very well used term. They're in their pomp. In their prime.
I've literally never heard that.
Oh God! No, I need to check. No, I have to check now.
Please, sir, pomp.
I'm not just searching pomp.
Pomp could put like, when was it used most? Like,
In their pomp, at the peak of one's skill or physical ability.
yeah, but
It's used a lot in football.
But please, you put when was the term pomp most popular? I want to know when this term, because it for sure is.
There's like a spike.
It is now.
It's like no, the pomp is like definitely a spike in like the 70s.
Earliest definition is from 1386. I don't know what you want from me.
Probably the same as most words.
Oh,
It's used a lot in football. If someone's in their pomp, in their prime, get the best.
Football properly.
But yeah, I think if you're like at the correct age, like if you were like 20 when AC/DC were in their prime, and you were 20 when Arctic Monkeys in their prime, then it would be close. If that makes any sense.
Mm.
yeah, I do think it would be close, but I'm not sure how much. I don't think AC/DC would hold up to. Actually, no, they would. I'm chatting shit.
Yeah, it happens a lot on this podcast, mate.
Very true.
But yeah, no, I would go Arctic Monkeys.
Okay, the third quarterfinal is The Strokes or Guns N' Roses.
That's tough.
That's tough. That is a tough one. Very different. I'd probably go Strokes.
I think I'd go. I think I'd go Strokes actually as well. I think Strokes would be my. I'm gonna stop looking at that.
Yeah, it's not them.
I think Strokes would be my pick. What I'd listen to more.
Yeah, agreed.
Guns N' Roses, I think, are potentially, arguably, objectively more iconic than the Strokes.
Yeah.
I think in worldwide international music, I think there's obviously Guns N' Roses are going to be tenfold more popular, but I do think Strokes, for the time period they were in the industry that we are, they just do cut the
Mustard.
yeah.
Strokes.
Okay, good. Kasabian or Nirvana?
Nirvana.
That was quick. We now move to the semi-finals.
Okay.
Should we have a jingle? Put a jingle in here.
If you want to make a jingle, mate, you put the jingle there.
Okay.
Semi-finals.
We'll do it in post. Might have to cut that out.
Yeah.
I wasn't for calling. All right, semi-final number 1: Oasis or Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, that's tough.
That is tough.
That's really. I think Arctic Monkeys.
I would go Oasis from personal taste, but I'd kind of be happy with either.
I think Arctic Monkeys.
I'd just more Oasis than Arctic Monkeys, but
I think I would put Arctic Monkeys in there because musically they prove themselves a little bit more with just the genre bending and changing and progressing as musically they do. If Oasis had stayed together and then they started toying down Noel's line of like what he actually wanted to do with the band and going into Noel's stuff, I think then the conversation would be a lot closer because there's a lot more diversity within the mix. Whereas I think at the moment, Oasis's albums are iconic and brilliant, but here with a touch of progression, but not loads. Whereas I feel like Arctic Monkeys have started over here, have ended up over here, whether you like it or not. I think it does. I think that musically shows a better musician.
I don't hate the logic. I think long term, when we look back on it, I worry that Arctic Monkeys are going to play themselves into quite a negative viewpoint eventually with the way that they're sort of doing their live gigs now. And if they keep going over the next 2 years, I think people look back and think that the end of their career ended up being worse than the end of Oasis. I think Oasis ended at the right time.
Yeah.
I think if they'd have kept going, they'd have almost fallen into this trap a little bit and got way worse and just ended up playing dreadful shows.
I think they did. They did.
Yeah.
The half of the second half of their discography, not that great.
But that is, I do also think that's a little bit of a myth and an easy out. I think the difference is, I think,
The artwork.
okay. The difference is that, let's say the first 3 albums are relatively on par, and then the second half is slightly lower than that par, but in that second half, Arctic Monkeys had AM, and Oasis didn't do an AM. I think it was like, if you're at like 10, 10, 10, and then 8s, but Arctic Monkeys have like another 10 in there. Whereas Oasis never did. So I think that's fair.
I think then the transition to Tranquility Base was then also like a 9 or 10 as well. I think that is a seamless. I think genuinely that was a seamless transition. I think the car has let them down if we're going to talk about like albums on the bounce. And I think that's where you're slowly seeing the downward trend. Whether they could pick it back up or not is a different thing. But I think the car was the downward trend, because I do think Tranquility Base, even though it was so different, I think it was really fucking good.
I agree.
People said the same thing when they did Humbug and Suck It and See, so they could absolutely come back with another banger.
Yeah.
Suck It and See, what a fucking great album.
I think it's the worst album.
I think it's their most underrated album.
I agree with Elliott. I think it's really strong.
I think it's really strong.
But I would probably say that about all of them.
Yeah,
I think all of them are really strong, focused albums.
Yeah, they are.
Apart from the car.
The car, the car is letting down a little bit, bless them. But I think
so. Are we?
Okay, Arctic Monkeys.
Are we doing Arctic Monkeys?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, and that means the other semi-final is The Strokes or Nirvana.
The Strokes.
See, I'd say Nirvana. I personally think I'd pick Nirvana. The Strokes.
I don't think Nirvana can be in the final of the best band of all time with one good album. I just don't think you can. It's not their fault, but
Could say the same thing about The Strokes.
I don't know. I think there's more.
There's more. They had one good album, and it'll pick some good songs.
I think it's harsh, but I do think it is a fair point. I think the problem is that Nirvana was so genre bending and so like genre changing, and so was the Strokes.
So were the Strokes. Exactly.
So were the Strokes. And I think that's where the discussion is, more than it being like who's got a better discography, who's got a better this, because that comes to personal taste. I think when we're talking, like, because we've both got very different tastes when it comes to like this style potentially, and I think Nirvana's wave on the planet, like their whole like what's it when you drop a stone in the pond?
Littering.
The
ripples.
The ripple effect. The ripple effect of Nirvana is, I think, much bigger than the Strokes.
I mean, the eventual winner of Arctic Monkeys wouldn't be a band without Strokes.
I was going to say, the eventual winner has revealed itself, but...
No, let's be honest. So, I would disagree with that. I think the genre... I mean, Nirvana almost invented a new genre, and that influenced a lot of that type of music. But I think on a broader scale of music, the Strokes had a bigger influence.
If you took a survey of all the bands who list the Strokes as an influence, and all the bands that list Nirvana as an influence, I think the Strokes is way bigger.
Yeah, especially in the music we listen to.
Yeah, they've influenced a lot more further bands, and sort of that's then led to even more changes in the scene.
Okay, I'm happy to go Strokes.
Okay.
I'm happy to stroke it up.
Should we build up some tension anyways if we don't already know the winner?
Boom, 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 boom. The final.
Oh, that was good.
Countdown.
That's copyrighted.
Yeah, you got to change it a bit.
Countdown. Right, please God.
The final is Arctic Monkeys or the Strokes.
The Strokes.
Arctic Monkeys would be a band without them. This is a genuine debate for a lot of people.
Arctic Monkeys, I don't know. There's no question.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I do love the Strokes. I think their influence is massive, but yeah, I think Arctic Monkeys take that.
And that's for you Arctic Monkeys fans.
Yeah.
This week that have hated. Oh, you hate Arctic Monkeys. If you don't know them, don't fucking talk about them. Pricks. Best band of all time. Yeah, best band of all time, Arctic Monkeys. In that lineup, I think is definitely there. I'm still disappointed with Blink-182 because I think I could have argued a point up until the semi-finals.
You tell you couldn't because they're out. So to finish, I have my Artist of the Week. You still haven't made us a jingle.
I completely forgot I was meant to make you a jingle, but I will do that.
Wow.
So we want
A lot of if, buts and maybes, Trippy.
Yeah, baby.
My artist of the week this week, short and snappy, it's Tom A. Smith.
Oh, lovely. Good.
I
old
don't
boy.
think still enough people are appreciating this man. But he's unbelievably fucking talented.
Yeah.
His music he's releasing is really good. His cover of Don't You Worry Child, I've listened to a lot, is so good. He launched Sunderland's new kit on their Instagram,
sick.
which is sick. He's just doing really cool things.
Really cool things at the minute.
Going to go very, very far.
Yeah.
So I know we've spoken about it before. We've interviewed him and his band and stuff. But yeah, just if you haven't, now's your chance.
Now's the time to get in it and still be like the cool kids at the start where they're like, oh yeah, I listened to the pig. I think
Before he was a pig.
well,
On that
note, on that bombshell. Thank you very much for coming and listening.
literally no one's there.
Thank you very much for coming. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, but you'd always say that when you're in front of a live audience.
Yeah, we are. Not told you streamed.
Was like 1,000 people there.
Well, there's everyone clapping in the background.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure, and watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Throw a like. Put in the comment whether you think we're right on the World Cup. If you think we're correct in the answer that we picked for Arctic Monkeys being better than all of the bands that we mentioned. We'll see. But then also follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Go check out the Spotify. The audio comes out the same day as the video, so yeah, it's up to you. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Horrific.
Horrific. All round horrific.